Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Welcome to our Red Tara practice group, contemplation and practice. I hope everybody's well. Uh, Always when it gets to be winter time here in southern Brazil, I always start with the weather report. So here it's going to get really cold tonight. Looks like we're going to get down to zero. That's why I'm all bundled up here in our tent. Our tent has the curious characteristic that if it's cold outside, it's colder inside the tent. If it's hot outside, it's hotter inside the tent. Don't ask me why. I don't know. So we're contemplating on page 179 in the chapter on precious human birth. In the lower realms, by contrast, brutality, pain, and ignorance preclude even having the concept of altruism, much less actually considering how to serve the needs of others. Think how difficult it is to feel concern for those around us when we are sick or even slightly irritated. Now, imagine how much harder this would be in the lower realms. For those in the midst of such extreme suffering, there are no opportunities or resources to support outer and inner change. On the other hand, in the higher realms, the problem is not suffering, but too much contentment. The gods are too drunk with pleasure to think of helping others or creating virtue, much less breaking free of samsara altogether. They never consider tomorrow, never consider that they are using up all of their positive karma, only to inevitably fall into a lower existence. So rebirth in neither the lower nor higher realms is desirable. Because without feeling concern for others, we cannot awaken from the dream. We humans have the perfect physical and mental combination for changing the ordinary mind and revealing its true nature. Enough freedom to determine the direction of our existence and access to methods for completely transcending suffering. In this precious human life, we can use our body, speech, and mind negatively to cause harm to others and ourselves, positively to increase our good qualities in order to create more benefit, or ultimately to find lasting happiness beyond the fleeting, unstable, and cyclic experiences of pleasure and pain we call samsara. Many people mistakenly believe that having once attained a human birth, they will always be born human, and that the conditions of their future lives will only improve. They sleep comfortably at night, thinking that all existence is evolutionary. But in fact, this is not the case. We cannot assume that our next life will be as good, much less better than this one. We cannot even assume that we will be born human next time around. Those of us who contemplate these teachings with an open mind and with the aspiration to benefit others enjoy a precious human birth. Not only are all of our mental faculties intact, but we are also receptive and connected to an unbroken lineage of the Buddhist teachings. And the conditions of our lives permit us to practice these teachings. Such a birth is as rare as a star in the daytime sky. It was not by mere luck that we have attained this birth. In previous lives, aspiring to do so, we developed a karmic connection to these truths, accumulated a vast amount of merit, and practiced moral discipline, abandoning the 10 non-virtuous actions of body, speech, and mind. If we committed any of these actions, we immediately confessed them with sincere regret and purified them. A precious human birth is characterized by 18 qualities, none of which exist in the hell, hungry ghost, animal, or God realms, for the reasons we discussed earlier. First of all, we do not live in an eon when the Buddha did not appear. We do not live in a culture that embraces wrong views. For example, the idea that murdering in the name of religion is virtuous. Also, in a place where the teachings are not available. We as individuals are not lost in a wrong view. We do not have a mental or physical disability so severe that we cannot go to and listen to the teachings, ask questions, and contemplate. Also, in our present eon, a Buddha appeared, he taught the Dharma, and the teachings have been maintained. Although Buddha Shakyamuni is no longer with us physically, others continue to maintain and apply his teachings and provide a living example of spiritual practice. And we can still connect to this practice through a teacher. We have a human body with all the faculties intact. We have a natural tendency towards virtue and benefit, and a penetrating mind. Also, we are imbued with enough faith to want to explore and learn the truth of spirituality. We have access to these teachings and enjoy a lifestyle that is conducive to, rather than conflicts with, spiritual practice. It's extremely rare that the Buddha appears. We're in an eon now where there's going to be 100 Buddhas. An eon is a period of time for the universe to come out of emptiness, appear, and then dissolve back into emptiness. The creation, the period of time where it exists, and then the destruction of the universe. In this particular eon, there will be 100 Buddhas. So they call this eon a good eon. Not a spectacular eon, also not a dark eon. A dark eon means no Buddhas appear. And if they do appear, they don't teach. Because it's not always when Buddhas appear that they teach, because in some cases, there are no appropriate or capacitated beings to hear those teachings. So they don't bother teaching. Nobody will get it. So this good eon that we're in is surrounded by dark eons. I don't know the exact number, but it's like 1,000 dark eons before and 1,000 dark eons come after. It's a large number. Don't quote me on that. But it's many eons before and many eons after that a Buddha will appear. So we're extremely fortunate to be born in this eon. But also, for example, this Buddha's teaching, the third Buddha, Buddha Shakyamuni, his teachings are going to last for around 5,000 years. Then there's going to be a period of time where the Buddha's teachings will be lost on this earth, which is like a little dark eon inside of a good eon. Even more so, of these 100 Buddhas that are going to appear in the eon of this universe that we're in right now, this period of time we're in right now, only 3 will teach the Vajrayana. So Vajrayana is even more rare than the Sutrayana, which the Buddha will teach in these 100 different appearances. So we're extremely fortunate to be born in this time, but only if we take advantage of it. Also, When we talk about the realms, the hell realms, the animal realms, the hungry ghost realms, we also have to remember that all of our experience is the mind. So these realms are really mental states. We can understand them as mental states that we're having on a day-to-day basis, like I have a mental illness, I don't see any hope, everything in my life falls apart, I have bugs in my bed, I'm living in my car, my mind is confused, I'm angry at everything. It's a kind of a hell that person is experiencing. But it's in their mind. Because for another person, a yogi, for example, they don't have a home, they don't have a job, they don't have any money, but they're meditating and they're extremely happy. So it's a state of mind. What can happen is when we die, the mind continues. So the mind's tendencies continue with it. So if we have the tendency of mind of hatred and anger and violence, the mind will manifest an environment like that. The same way that if we go to sleep at night and our mind is troubled, we'll have disturbing dreams. It's the same after we leave this body when we don't have the stability of this physical body anymore. Our mind keeps creating like the dreams of the night. And after a certain period of time in the intermediate state between this life and the next life, that starts to become more and more solid and solidified. So even though it's a creation of our mind, it can feel very solid and we can sort of get trapped in that creation of our own mind. So that's how the six realms manifest. Okay, so it's wonderful we're all here tonight. It's wonderful we all have a predisposition of having faith in the Buddhist teachings. It's wonderful we have a availability of a practice like Tara, and that there are teachers that can explain how it works and how to do it. So at this very moment, when we're sitting on our cushions and we're doing practice, at this very moment, with our mind focused and full of faith and devotion, we can honestly say at this precise moment, we have a precious human birth. So rejoice in that as we engage in practice.